Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of the Let's Face It podcast. This is my journey with Pádraig, the Hammer, isn't it? The Hammer Mc Crory. This episode is proudly sponsored by Conlon Boxing, our friend Michael Conlon, who was our very first guest on the Let's Face It podcast. Himself and his brother Jamie and their own boxing management company. They're only started off and they've got the likes of Pádraig and Sean McComb and boys like that in. So it's keep an eye for Conlon Boxing, and they're doing great things for our city. Even just recently seen they're up in Jim Co there, giving a wee bit back and doing wee classes for boxing and stuff. So brilliant. So thanks to Mick and his brother Jamie. Your help's greatly appreciated, and I love what you're doing for people like Pádraig and what you're doing for our city. It's fantastic. So thank you. But we'll crack on. How are you, Pádraig?
I'm very well.
You keeping all right?
Yes, mate. Yes.
Really nice to get you in. I've been trying to get you in for a while, but it's great to have you. And just to start us off, actually, I offered Pádraig a bottle of water out of Greg's this morning, right? And he says, no, it was the sodium, was it?
Sodium, yeah.
So there's too much sodium in that, so there's 5 milligrams of sodium in it. So it just shows you where Pádraig's at with his diet and nutrition and his weight cut coming up for this Saturday night. This will be released on Saturday morning, so you're going to have a chance to listen to it before Pádraig's fight tonight, effectively. But how are you feeling for it, mate? What's the crack?
Mate, I feel good. I found out about this fight 5 weeks ago, and from there, we've really knuckled down. And I listen, it's a big opportunity, and I feel amazing about it. Class,
unreal. And actually, I was just reading an article there this morning from Carl Frampton, who's your hero, who we'll go on to in a wee bit, saying that this fight, like I'm not putting any pressure on you whatsoever, no. But if you win this fight, it can absolutely change your life and your boxing career.
Oh, I massively. I'm very aware of like what fights can do for me, and like this stage of my career. So pressure, I wouldn't really feel it much, because I'm kind of, let's take a fight at a time. Do you know what I mean? I try not to look too far ahead, but I also don't want to not be, or not see what's past this as well. Do you know what I mean? But if I win this fight, there could be some potential massive fights for me.
Class. And what is it for, the
IBO World Title?
Light heavyweight.
So I'm moving up in weight for this fight.
Right. How do you feel about that?
It's different. It's like something that like is new to me, and traveling away, it's new as well. But I'm a big super middleweight, so I like getting down to super middleweight. It's a challenge sometimes, but so I'm not overly afraid of it. It's I don't see it as a massive issue, but no, it should be good.
That's good. I was talking to, I can't remember if it was Keevan Haynes or Mick Conlon about the weight cuts and stuff, and I says the only experience I have of any sort of boxing weight cut was seeing you one night coming out of the gym coat. I was just out of the sauna and you were just out, and I looked like it was death walking. It was madness, and that's what I was saying. What you boys do is absolutely phenomenal, a complete mental strength. But I suppose you were a late blossomer, I feel for a better word. We'll start from the start, and how you sort of started getting into boxing and how that all came about.
Well, my first experience in a boxing gym was when I was about 9 or 10. I went for about 2 or 3 weeks with my brother and my dad, but then we stopped, and then it was just I started back again at about 14. There was a few lads from the local area, and they were all going to boxing, and they were like, yes, come on. So their dad had a van, and so we all jumped in the back and we all drove. It was St. Agnes at the time, and there was about 10 of us, and we're all in the back of the van. And so from there, everybody kind of filtered away, and then me, D. Walsh, and Rory Dalton, we all stuck at it. And they were always much better than me because they had experience, and they were for 2 or 3 years more than me. So I was always in the background, and they were always winning tournaments, and I always felt bad, but good for them. But I always felt how come I can't do this? Yeah. But yeah, so from there, it just grew and grew, and then I got to 2021, and then I stopped again. I was never a big fan of training, so it was really hard to commit to it. And I moved in like my mum's house at 17, so like I moved in with like friends and just moved about places, and getting training and doing a job and all this sort of shit. Like I was like, boxing's not for me, and then I stopped until I was about 25.
Do you think like, I've had this conversation loads of times about people about breaking away from sport, especially at that age. Do you think that is dangerous in terms of the world that we live in today with drugs and drink and all this here? Like, these things could just grab a hold of us, like?
Yeah, of course. Like I could have easily like caught up like in that world. I moved in with a friend who had a few issues like with like drugs and drink. And at the minute he's actually, I think he's living in a hostel. I haven't heard from him in about 6-7 months now. But yes, so I could have caught up and all that, but it was just something that it didn't appeal to me. I didn't like the thought of like doing drugs every weekend or getting drunk every weekend. All right, like I went to the bar, the Fallons, then it was nearly every Saturday. But apart from that, like I didn't drink much, you know.
Yeah.
I played a bit of GAA. I played a bit of like soccer and stuff, and that kind of like kept me like straight as well. But yeah, breaking away from sport, especially like the early teens, can definitely lead to like bad things like around Belfast.
And then on the other side of it, how important do you think sport is then for keeping people on the straight and narrow? Like?
So for me, massively.
Yeah.
Massively, like especially like boxing 14 and up. Like we used to go to school, and then on Wednesday and Thursday we used to go to like tack and do like different things like bricklaying and stuff. And on the way there, all the lads like we used to like walk the graveyard, and they used to take like lungs and stuff like dope. And I was like, no lads, I'm alright. And they used to cough. And I was like, why did they do that for? But again, if I didn't box, I might have done that. Do you know what I mean? And I was always like, no, like I fight, like I'm not going to do that. So I think sports in general, like whether it be soccer, Gaelic, boxing, and there's loads of sports. I think it plays a massive part in like people staying on that sort of straight path.
Definitely, and I agree with you 100%. Like even like the people you surround yourself with and all too, like, you know, because obviously they want to succeed and do well, and you know, it's so important. But you mentioned even a bit about you played a bit of football, Gaelic, like, and your club's only down the road from Ang ODs. Like, tell me a bit more about ODs and your experience with ODs, because I seen after your last fight that was the first place you went to after you won, like, and you went in, and the reception you got in there was. It was nearly like ODs won the senior football championship. Do you know? And that must feel special.
Really, so I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, and then I got back, and they were kind of like, "It's a full house," and then they seen it was me, and they were like, "Right, come on, quick, come on!" So like I walked in the door, and like the whole place just like started singing. I'm quite shy, and that so I stuck my head there, and I was like, "Thank you," and then my mate friggin' lifted me up on the shoulders. So I was like, "Oh shit!" But looking back at it, like it's amazing that so ODs for me, it's like a big family. Like we're all very friendly. I was very proud, like to wear the colours out in my last fight.
Yep.
I won two junior championships 12 years ago, the way ODs, and then I've stopped playing like recently, like the last 3 or 4 years because of boxing. I find Gaelic, as mad as it sounds, is in terms of getting like hurt, is worse than boxing. Even though I'm getting punched. I've had 3 injuries in my life, and 2 of them came from Gaelic. So
what were they?
I done my shoulder, it's an AC joint in my shoulder. And I done something like in my knee, which I never got checked, but I couldn't walk for a month. But yeah, so I think Gaelic and soccer is much more dangerous than getting punched in the head.
And you're a Swiss man too, St James is Swiss man, and they're doing great work, I suppose, too. For people around St James's, obviously, and wider around the falls and stuff like that. And I think, you know, people like junior and DMC contracts and stuff who would know well enough, and like coming in and helping out St James's is great. And he is from St James's originally, so it's great to see people like that, even though they have moved on and live in England and getting on with their lives. Don't forget where they come from, like, and I think that shows the strength and unity within, you know, certain communities within Belfast, and it's class to see, like. But how much does St James's Swifts and that sort of whole, there's a good buzz about it, like, isn't there, with Sean Pat and all them sort of boys?
Yeah, it's
how does that?
yeah. So there's a guy there called he's a St James's hero, Big Limbo Lindsay.
Right.
I don't know if you know him. So he was always about St James, and he done like youth work, and he brought us on trips and trips and sort of like nights away and stuff. And then Limbo moved away to Australia back when we were about 13 or 14, and the community, like, we missed them massively. And then he came back recently, and then St James, like, Swifts, like, they took off and started playing like the 5-a-sides, 7-a-sides, which is now like they're on the verge of hopefully getting into like sort of, is it the Irish League nearly?
Yeah.
Championship 2.
Aye.
So he's a big part of St James's area, but growing up there, like, it was like every front door was open, like you could just walk in and out of people's houses and stuff. For me, it's a great community, and it's good to see like the local team with like Limbo involved. I think Limbo, he got some award on UTV. It was like Person of the Year or something along like them lines. But seeing them do do well, I think it's great. We had a bit of a falling out a couple of years ago. I left St James's and went to CSP.
Oh, come
So
on.
yeah, I'm terrible like for leaving clubs. But yeah.
So am I, don't worry about it. I'll be on my story about leaving a club too,
Yeah.
like in 2017, but
Desperate.
we'll not get into it today.
But no, I went and watched then the Swifts at the weekend again, and there was loads of people there from St James's, and they're all wishing me like good luck and all the best. So no, my mum, like, she still lives there, so she still lives in the house that I grew up in. It's a great community and it's a great area, and people like Limbo, Sean Pat, and Pody even as well.
Yeah.
They're doing massive things for the area. So
No, and it's great to see, like, because as I mentioned there at the start about, there is loads of distractions, and the more depraved areas you go into, the more distractions there are with drugs and different things, like, and it's great that they are, you know, and the likes of Pody and stuff has his own battles, like, and it's great that he is pushing back into the community. I think it's just fantastic to see, and there's something very warming about it, you know.
Yeah.
And then what about like school and stuff for you? What were you like in school, or you went to Corpus, didn't
Corpus Christi, yeah. Again, like I was saying, like them, like every Wednesday and Thursday, like we get off at lunchtime and then we walked up the tack, and the lads were doing their stuff and whatever. I never really tried in school.
Right.
School was always like one of them things. I was like, do I have to go to school? Which I regret massively. But my advice for like any young person watching this now, please give your best in school, because you'll never regret it. Yeah, again, the Corpus Christi, but like, which isn't there anymore, but they'd probably be known as the craziest school ever. It was like every day there was a fight, and like it. So when I started boxing, it became a bit easier because people knew that, like, I knew how to like punch a bit. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to fight like loads in school, probably like once or twice. But yeah, I just regret not trying harder in school. Like.
And do you think that was down to like maybe the environment that you were in? Like, did you have to sort of mess about, or was it just the way things were then?
No, I suppose in school, like, it's full of people, like kids who are trying to make their mark and trying to like be the man or sort of
the jock.
Yeah. So there was always like nearly in every class there was always like one or two that were like knobs, like. But outside of that, like, my experience in school, like, wasn't too bad, to be honest. Outside of not trying hard enough, I enjoy school. I see like some of my teachers now, and again, there's like Minter Murray, and they all train in the gym and stuff, and they're always, "Frig me, you're doing brilliant." Like, it's good to see. So it's like, it's good. And they've asked me to go and tell their schools, like, to do certain stuff. So I don't know.
No, it's class, but that's
Yeah.
great. And I think even with teachers and stuff, like having that relationship with them. And I spoke to Chris Kerr last week. He was in about it, and we were talking about LaSalle and the contacts and the relationships we built with teachers in there. And you did mention Mentor Murray, and I'm just asking you a wee bit more about him because I have my own personal experiences with him with Plunkett. I played for Plunkett soccer team for a couple of years. And like he's such a special man, isn't he? Like in the way he carries himself and conducts himself, and he's so unique. And I suppose like he's back in now, taking the Swifts.
He's
like,
back
so
in the Swifts, yeah.
How did he have much of an impact in your life? Like,
So I remember him, and so the first time I seen him after, I was working in the wee shop like in the Royal, and I was walking through, and I says, "Mr. Murray," he says, "Don't call me Mister." And then he was talking. He was saying, "I seen you're doing." So I'd already started back boxing. He says, "I seen your back boxing and stuff," and like we were talking, but he was always a character, and obviously he's like sports driven as well, which I kind of liked, I kind of liked as well, but a great character, a bad slagger.
what was the story about the?
Oh, fuck, no. Don't know if I could say this.
Oh, you're all right.
Mr. Murray, there was a few of the mates like were going on like they're formal, and there was one who's, let's say, he's not too good looking, and they said, he's going, and they're like, there's no way that he's going to a formal, and they're like, oh no, he is. He says, that man got a date, and he says, he says, you boys, you're on the ugly pills, but that fella's overdosed. So that's a tape of him.
That is a tape of Mr. Murray, like,
yeah.
and he's an absolute gentleman. And I remember even one day I was walking up the finicky road, and he pulls over on the side of the road and leaves the car running because he jumps out of the car for a yarn, like, and
not a car in the world, though.
it's brilliant, like, and it's good people like that, and it's, you know, we like everyone, we all have people who have had them wee impacts in our lives, you know, growing up, and like we'll go on to like obviously you took that break then from boxing. What happened then? What was next for you in terms of did you find love for it again, or did you run out of options? Were you not getting on the OD team, or what was the?
I remember it was maybe January 2017 or no January 2014. Sorry, it's a bit of difference. And I was sitting. It was like a New Year's Day or the day after. And I was sitting and I was reading the paper. It was Irish News, and I had a bottle of beer in my hand, just like sitting drinking, and like I seen like a wee slip saying the Ulster Elites, which is the Ulster Seniors, is on the 28th of January or something like that. And I was like, I have a fancy giving these a go, you know, because I was 26 and I was kind of like, if I don't do it now, like I'll never do it. So I went to like the local club. It was Glean then, which I'm at now, and spoke to Paul Hyland. Says, listen, this is in 3 weeks. I haven't trained in like a long time, but I want to give it a go. And I jumped in the scales, and I was like 90 kilo. And he was like, "That's heavyweight." And I was like, I can't fight a heavyweight. He's like, "Okay, 81 kilo. If we can get down to that, like we'll put you in, and we'll see how it goes." So I entered that, and I won it. So the Ulster Elites is like it's a massive tournament. It's the best. So it's the best in Ulster. And then I thought I qualified for the Commonwealth Games. A few issues around that. And the guy beat in the final ended up going. And then from there, I signed pro. And when I signed pro, I was getting married as well. So I signed pro, I got married, and went on honeymoon. And then when I got home, we found out that my wife was pregnant. So I was like, I'm going to give this a go to try and do something like for my child and my wife and whatever. And then from there, it's got like bigger and better, and now we're on the verge of being champion of the world.
It's class, isn't it? Like some story. And you mentioned there, what do you call your wife?
And Taisha.
Yeah. And how many kids have you got? Sorry,
3 kids.
You have 3 kids, like, and that, like, you must be incredibly proud, like, even in that side of your life, like having that as well. Are you?
Like, my kids are my like my pride and joy. So nothing compared to them, you know. Even boxing, like I've won some big fights, but nothing compared to them. And they know that I box. They always like, "Daddy loves boxing" and all this sort of stuff. And then when they go into school, there's a kid there, Dahi. So like we Dahi's like he's big into sports and he loves boxing. And he's been on a heart actually. So he's a brilliant kid, but he's always shouting, go on, Pádraig Mc Crory, go on, Pádraig Mc Crory. And then my son's kind of like, Daddy, he knows you. You know, so no, it's great to see. And I want to do something like to make them as proud, so I can say I done this like through a plan myself. And I have experience where I didn't, and I achieved nothing. Do you know what I mean? So like back in the amateurs, I get beat by people that I shouldn't get beat by, because I didn't train hard enough. I didn't apply myself well enough. Do you know what I mean? So this is, as much as it's for me as well. It's showing them that you can achieve it by putting in the effort,
hard work, dedication, and even a vision. You know, and I suppose, like when you started off, like did you have that vision in your head that someday you could get the cream of the crop?
Well, not, see, so when I first started boxing, or semi-pro, my first pro fight, I was kind of like, if I win an Irish title, like that's massive for me. It's great, but as the fights went on, I've reset my goals. I think, so as I said, I never try to get too far ahead, but now I'm at the stage where like I have to be like anything is possible. Like, I'm going the journey like tomorrow, and I have the chance of achieving like something that I never probably seen possible. But as I say, as the fights went on, these things became more and more possible, and it's been from a bit of hard work and perseverance. That there was a stage in my career where I had 3 fights all called off back to back, and I was kind of like back to when I was 21 or going, is boxing worth it? Like do I want to be doing this? But I stuck with it, and now I'm here.
Class. And it is amazing. Was there ever any, I suppose, any point in your mind where your mind saying to you just to give up, like after them fights were just, you know, after them 3 fights weren't happening and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
And what did that look like for you? Like how did you turn your mindset round in terms of being like, do you know what, fuck it, and I'm gonna go for it here? Like
I'd be a pessimist, like, so I would overthink everything and think like the worst, like nearly all the time. But so we're talking about a card from him. His fight cancellation was my first fight cancellation, where the guy fell in the shower and he smashed his face and the whole card was called off. Oh, yes. And I was gutted, because I was like, I'm fighting him from an undercard. It's only my second fight. This is massive. And then we all got weighed in, so we're all weighed in. We all made it. And that night, the guy fell in the shower and the whole card was called off. And I was gutted. Like, I sat in the house and cried, and I was like, shit, what the hell? And then I spoke with Kieran Farrell, who was my manager there. He was like, we'll get you out again in Devonish in 6 weeks. So I was like, right, back training. We got the Wednesday before the fight, and he phoned me saying it's not happening. And again, I was like, fuck this. He says, there's a show in Blackpool next week, we'll get you on that. And I was like, right. But like at this stage, it was like I had to cover everything. I had to cover my opponent, I had to cover my flights, to cover everything. Like, so then it was costing me money, like the box. And I was like, right. So I got the next week. The guy who was meant to top the bill in Blackpool, he failed the medical, so the card was off. And I sat with like my wife and went, I'm not doing this anymore. It's far too much. Like, I'm doing all this like for nothing. Do you know what I mean? But I stuck with it, and we're here. So.
That's class, mate. And I suppose like like all that perseverance and pushing on and actually wanting to do well, and you sort of give me your why there in terms of your wife and 3 kids,
yeah.
And having that in your head, like what does like a day in the life for Pádraig Mc Crory look like in terms of, you know, getting up, training, like in terms of this camp, even say getting ready for the biggest fight of your life? What does a day look like for you?
I wake up at about 5:15 in the morning.
Right.
I go to work. I work the 8.
So you're in Gymco?
Yeah,
so
I'm in Gymco.
Gymco as a personal trainer. So if anyone's looking, any personal training,
don't come to me with those faces.
After tonight's fight, you'll not need to go to him. So. But you work as a personal trainer in Gymco.
Yeah. So I'll do like 6 to 8, and then I'll go and I'll get the kids to school, and then I'll be back to work for about 9:30, and I'll work till 10:30. I'll go training. I'll train twice, and then I'm back on that night at about 5 or 6. So it's a busy day, and like there's days like where I see my kids like in the school run, and and then that's it. And then I don't see them when they're going to bed because they go to bed at like 8 at night, which is late enough. So yeah, like I don't see them sometimes, which is like crap because like I love them, like, and like I want to be with them all the time, but like unfortunately, like at this stage, especially like I'm on the verge of doing something big in boxing, that's the sacrifices that I have to make.
Yeah, and it's all going to be worth it in the end. Like.
I hope so. Yeah,
it will be. And see, like in terms of, I think I talked to you before, about. With the county, like we would do a lot of player analysis, and I know the two boys are in now, and they would probably do it too, like in terms of how other teams set up, what we're going to do if this happens, like contingency plans, if we get a man sent off, we'll do everything. Yeah. What way does that work for boxing, like? So,
like, I find out, like, the guy I'm fighting, and we'll look at him. We'll see what he does, good and bad, and then we'll try and work on a plan that'll suit everything. But you got to work on, if he's getting you on the back foot, if you get him the back foot, what he does after he punches, what he does like when he punches. So there's loads behind it. It's not just like getting in the ring and just throwing punches. Even though I do that sometimes, and it's worked. It's kind of worked so far. But yeah, like there's different styles, and styles make fights. My next opponent, his style is probably a style that I've probably struggled with the most. But yeah, like we. Like,
what style does he have?
He's like high guard, and he just walks forward, and he throws loads of punches.
Right.
So I'm more like slow pace fighter, but hopefully I can crack him early and just hurt him. I don't know, but no, yeah, like we're working like on many different things, different scenarios. I was cut in my last fight. It was like the worst cut that I've like had. So like I had to deal with that, like the blood run down your face, which I've never really experienced before. But there's loads of different things that happen in a fight. Like you could like break your hand in a fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just about trying to be ready, like for all of it.
Yeah, and I suppose it's the same sort of concept too. Like that, you know, you could have all these plans and all these, you know, things that you're going to do in the fight, but like something mad could happen in the first 30 seconds, or in a match something mad could happen, and it just throws a complete spanner in the works, and you just have to stand and fight for yourself, like ways on the pitch, like so.
Worst comes to worst, you just stick your head down and throw like mad. Hope for the best.
You can take a man out of St James's, take St James's out of the man.
No, you have to scrap sometimes.
No, but I think even listening to your story, like it's very much an underdog story, the way you've came, and you know, and it hasn't been from the lack of trying. Do you know what I mean? Like the work that you've put in, and I see you most days floating about gym and co, like, and you're always there, and even the way you hold yourself, Pody, like, and it's something that I wanted to touch on too. You know, people, and you get a lot of people doing well for themselves. You know, you're obviously pushing on that in the boxing world, but you're still very grounded, you know, even to talk to, and you still have a lovely way about you, and you're very approachable. And is that something that it's just was the way you're brought up, or is it something that people would say to you, or what way do you approach that? Like, because I know you can get tortured, and I've been torturing you for ages to get you on this podcast, so, and you've just been constantly nice, and not just me, obviously, but I mean to everybody, like, and I know what way you are in the gym and stuff, like, and it's humbling, like.
I've never changed. I don't think. Like, I train people like for like 3 or 4 years, and they've came to see me fight, and they go, "You're not the same person." I would like, I know, but I'm getting to fight somebody. I can't just like be sort of like fucking laid back like that. But I do get that all the time. Like people say you're like a different person through boxing, and then through like just like life. But I don't know. I never want to be that person who who's like a dickhead to somebody, like, for no reason, you know. And like I've seen it loads of times. I've seen, like, being around like sports people, like you see them sometimes like throwing their head up, like, with like fans or whatever. I don't like to call people fans, because like the people I know, like, are all friends and family. But it's not me. It's not. I'm not a cheeky person, like, and I don't like people pay good money to come see me, and they're the reason why like I'm getting these opportunities. So I have to be like nice to them. Not that like I have to. I want to be nice to people as well. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just me.
No, it's nice, and keep being you. Like, it's class. And just to finish off, and obviously this podcast is in association with Conlon Boxing. Like, how much of an impact has has Mick Conlon and Jamie made on you in your career development in terms of getting these big fights? Since how long ago did you sign for them?
Well, Conlon boxing's only new,
Right.
but I've been working with Jamie for about 4.5 years now.
Aye.
So from my second fight, he's getting me through to now.
Okay.
Which has been massive. Like me and Jamie, like we're fairly close, and we speak like nearly every day about different stuff, about life, kids, because Jamie has three kids as well, you know. But Jamie's played a massive part like in my career, and then Mick, who now works with Jamie, he's fought in Belfast 4 times, and I've had the opportunity to be on that massive platform every time. So it's played a massive part in me getting like recognition, and then more people like seeing me fight, because obviously like Mick's a star, and people like they all want to see Mick fight, so they all come, and if I'm fighting, then they're going to see me. So they've had a massive part like in my career, and Mick fights again in 7 weeks, and I would hope to be on that card as well. He hasn't fought in Belfast, where I haven't fought in Belfast, so it makes sense.
You'll be a busy man.
Yeah.
Out tonight and out in 6-7 weeks time. Yeah. But what does finish off in Carl Frampton? I know that we did touch on it in our conversation about him being your role model. How much did he have an impact in, I suppose not even just like if you know each other, but in terms of like looking to someone, because I even remember growing up and looking at like different hurlers and stuff on TV, and even people like Brian McFall who are in my club, and I looked up to him as like he's amazing, do you know, like, and we do need people like that, like, and it's good even to have like people like the 2 lads here and have it, because they're role models too to a lot of people. How much did he impact your life and career and stuff?
Massively. Like Carl, like he kind of like brought the city together.
Yeah,
which was great. I always remember going and watching him like in the Ulster Hall and stuff, and like just being in awe of him. And then I was met to fight in his undercard, and I met him before that, but it was the first I spoke to him really. Like, and such a nice guy. Like, and they went on to win like world titles. I went to Manchester to watch him against Scott Quigg, and he must have brought 5,000 people over there. Like, do you know what I mean? And they're all from like both sides of the community, which was good to see. He's a great fighter and he's a great person, which I like more, you know. But my biggest regret is not fighting like on that undercard, because the guy fell in the shower. But no, he's a great guy.
Class. Any words of wisdom for anybody? I suppose, like, even your story, it's just been mad, because like you actually just stopped, like your dream or your boxing career just could have been over, like, and for that 4 or 5 year period, you know, it wasn't in your hands anymore. No. Do you know what I mean? Would there be any advice for anybody, especially what we did touch on there with young people drifting away from sport in teenage years, the dangers of society and drinking, drugs and all that, and what can come in? Would you have any advice for any young boys or your girls, of course?
Yeah, I just try and stick with it. I've stuck with it the last 4.5 years, 5 years. I've stuck with it and I've worked hard, and I'm now seeing the results of it. So hard work, perseverance, and a bit of dedication, and like anything's possible.
Class, mate. Hard work, perseverance, and dedication. That's what's going to win you this fight tonight. It is.
Thank
so
you.
Here, best of luck, mate. And we're all rooting for you, from everyone, all of us, and I suppose all of Belfast. Like, so we'll throw this out on Saturday and hopefully get everyone tuning in on the Fire Stick. and know all of our.
It's on TG Car.
Oh, is it on TG Car?
Yeah,
so what time, man?
About 9 p.m.
Right, 9 o'clock, TG Car. Get on it, and class, mate. I wish you all the best.
Good stuff, thank you.
Pleasure having you in.
Good stuff,
thank you.
Thanks.
And thanks again to Conlon Boxing, to Mick Conlon and Jamie Conlon, for their help and support on this week's episode. Your support is greatly appreciated, and it wouldn't be possible without you. So thanks to Mick and Jamie and Conlon Boxing. It's brilliant, and best of luck with everything that you are doing. And a massive good luck to our very own Pádraig Mc Crory tonight, fighting in the biggest fight of his life. So yeah, good luck, Pádraig. Go do it, mate.